Hi guys, so welcome back. We're coming near to full moon in Leo, so I decided to jump on and talk about this. And today is actually an interesting day. It's Friday and we have a Uranus square in the Sun, Sun-Uranus square, and this will be still active on the day of the full moon. When obviously Sun is in the sign of Aquarius, Moon is in opposition, Moon is in Leo. And tomorrow we also have a Venus square in Mars, Venus in Pisces square in Mars in Gemini. So that again still will be active. At the same time, during the time of the full moon, we'll also have Chiron still within a degree. It's coming into the degree where it's making sextile to the Sun. Jupiter kind of not quite there yet, but still, going to make it within the sign. It's making sextile to the Sun in Aquarius, and Mars will be trining Sun at the same time. So anyway, we have a lot of energies going on. Obviously, the profound one today, when I'm making this video, is this Uranus square in the Sun. So actually, it's all about this energy of liberation. We started this new year with the first new moon of the year was the new moon in Aquarius. So already the flavor of the year is all about individuation and liberation from things that are keeping us feeling stuck. Saturn is currently still in the sign of Aquarius, so it's kind of like pointing our attention there again, like with the Pluto being in Capricorn, again Saturnian flavor, like Pluto is breaking apart all these old definitions of reality. Now Saturn has been transiting the sign of Aquarius for past 2-3 years, so that's again, it's trying to tell us what we need to liberate ourselves from, what is keeping us stuck, which kind of definitions of reality, what structures are no longer supporting our individuation process. Now Sun is transiting through the sign of Aquarius, so it's bringing the spotlight onto this area. Obviously Venus has just recently moved into Pisces, so Venus went through Aquarius, so she was gathering the information about our values, our essential values that will support us in this individuation process. And now we'll have Venus squaring the Mars tomorrow, so that's kind of like a tension. It's a tension, and Venus is in the last quarter square to Mars, because Mars is moving slower than Venus. So it's a crisis in consciousness. So what are we still attached to? This is all about how we think about the things that we need in life, and how are we being stuck because of this attachment to the physical stuff that is helping us, in this three-dimensional reality, to survive everything that we need in order to survive and thrive in this reality. And now Venus transiting from the sign of Pisces, she's obviously dissolving all that no longer serve us. And when she will be squaring Mars, it will be sending the message that, okay, well, this still needs to be dissolved in order for us to initiate, to action plan, which will lead us to becoming the people we want to be, to individuation, to step up into our authenticity. And actually, interestingly, Uranus is squaring this full moon, and then in summer, Venus will be transiting through the same area in Leo, where Moon is currently. Obviously this will be the opposition Moon to Sun, that's what creates the full moon. And Venus in summer will be transiting through the sign of Leo, so she will be going through exactly the same area, and she will actually retrograde in the sign of Leo in July. And interestingly, Venus will start the retrograde on the same day as the nodes will change the signs from Taurus, Scorpio into Libra, Aries axis. So it's all in regards of our values, our relationships, and relationship to ourselves. And what this full moon deeply speaks to me about is this connection to our inner child. That's why we actually having the sextile from Chiron, and also the trine from Mars. So this Chiron going through the sign of Aries. Aries is this new energy. It's this energy of self-discovery. I need to go out there and find out what my purpose is. And obviously there is still this collective wound where people feel that they cannot act on it, or they don't know what it is because they feel disconnected from themselves. And this is a supportive energy to this full moon. Leo is all about a creative self-actualization, and actually in a traditional astrology is the representation of children, of joy, the things we do for fun, like the fifth house flavor, romance, dating, stuff like that. And this Chiron is telling us that what are we still not doing that, you know, could help us heal, could help us self-actualize. And also with this Mars in Gemini in our thinking process, obviously when Mars was going in retrograde through Gemini, in accumulated information. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, was also in retrograde until recently, accumulated information in Capricorn, like what definitions or structures we are attached to that are enabling to act on things, to initiate. And now we have in all these positive aspects, apart from this square from Uranus, which is all about rebellion and liberation. So it tries to crack us free. It tries to create a fracture, some maybe unexpected situation, unexpected circumstances that will happen, that helps us recognize our true values, and those things that we are attached to, that are enabling or enabling to set ourselves free. So it's all this Taurian attachments. Like Taurus is very, very primal. It's all this that we need for survival, everything that we need for survival. And Uranus going through the sign of Taurus is obviously showing us that what needs to change in regards of looking at what is important, our value system. But also Taurus is what represents our self-love, because it's also our relationship to ourselves, not just those things that we need for survival, but it's also our self-esteem and our relationship to ourselves. And now having, as I mentioned, I know I'm jumping back and forth here, but as I mentioned, Venus will be transiting the sign of Leo, and the place where this full moon is happening in summer, and retrograding in the sign of Leo. And actually at the same time, she will make a square to Uranus, so this square will become reactivated, the square which we are experiencing now, today, and obviously it's still active during the time of this full moon. Again, Venus will bring attention to this, like what do we still need to do in order to live a life that is connected to joy, to fun. And like I said, this is all about the inner child healing as well, because of the positive aspect from Chiron, and positive aspect from the ruler of Chiron, because Chiron is in sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars being in Gemini is actually trining Sun that is transiting Aquarius at the moment. So it's a positive aspect, supportive aspect. It's wanting us to actualize, to step into our true authenticity, to show the world who we really are, and that way to heal ourselves, to accept ourselves for who we are. So again, it deeply feels to me that it's this reconnection with the inner child, because in each and every one of us, this inner child will always be present. It doesn't mean just because we grow up, and it doesn't matter what age we are, it doesn't mean that this child gone anywhere. It's still present with us, and we can very deeply feel it when we feel upset in life, or we feel like life is a burden. That means that there is a disconnection, because obviously we're not feeding this inner child. There is not enough time for joy and play. And that's why when we go on holiday, when we take vacation, we feel like children. We feel full of joy. We do these Leo things, you know, we go to restaurant and we do fun things. We go to water park, you know, stuff like that. And this is exactly what it's about. This is the connection to our inner child, when we do things just for the pure joy of it. That there doesn't have to be any other reason, just because it's fun. Because children don't do things because they have to. They do things because they're fun. I mean, they do things that they have to do as well, that the society or parents tell them to do. But the things that they choose to do, they do because they just bring them a sense of fun and joy and freedom. You know, they just like want to feel free, and that's what this energy is inviting us to do. To just do things that actually brings us joy. What do we want to do that shows the world who we truly are in our essence. And this Leo, obviously Leo archetype, is connecting with our heart, so stepping deep into ourselves and connecting with our inner child, living life that actually is joyful, joyous, not just life of burden like the Capricornian archetype, that, you know, there has to be a lot of responsibility. That's part of life, but this balance when we actually have a time to also play, not just do things because we have to do them because it's expected. And actually Sun being in a sign of Aquarius, it's again connecting us with our true essence. So it's our essence as a Sun, who we are inside, but the Aquarian part is that us which we want to show to the world, because it's like it's the young energy, so it wants to project externally. So it's the people we connect with, the groups that we create and form, and it's to show the world our individuated self. So it's us without all the labels and programming of the society, which is, well, now Mars going direct in sign of Gemini, is actually telling us what is actually ours. These labels of the society, these early childhood programming, like when we went to school and stuff like that, what culturally been told to us. Also, you know, this Jupiter is coming into the degree sextile. I mean, it's sextile by the sign, so it's still not quite in a degree, because sextile doesn't have such a wide orb, but again it gives us the same message. Jupiter being in the sign of Aries, it's very youthful energies, all this optimism in regards of how reality can be, not how we've been told that reality has to be, but what is our individual truth, what is our perspective of reality, and how do we want to live this life in accordance with that. So to me, this full moon in sign of Leo, because full moon is all about integration, it's coming from Virgo into the flavor of Leo or even Libra, when we want to connect with the society, but more like the Leo, where we want to show the world who we are. So now it's gone through the 180 degrees, where we internally process the information. It's gone inward, backward, like accumulating the information from outside, processing it, connecting with ourselves. Does it resonate? Does it not resonate? How do we want to create the next step based on that? How do we want to connect based on the information that we now integrated? So this energy now wants to go outwards, and it wants to connect. It wants to show the world that this is who I am. This is me in my Leo essence, and I now want to connect with the world. I want to show it to the world. And as I said, because of the positive aspects from Chiron and Mars, it's actually inviting us that this is the way forward. Like if you live the life that is in accordance with who you are, and it brings you a sense of joy, and it allows you to be authentic and live the life of your purpose, because Leo is also about the sense of there is a destiny out there to follow. There is something that I'm here to do, connecting with your heart, because only your heart, your inner guidance system has all the answers. Nobody external has the answers. Only all the answers are within us. And this is what is it telling us? Like, connect with yourself, connect with your inner child, because your inner child is always there. It's always speaking to you. And when you feel upset because life feels that it's just a burden and it's just all these chores, that's a complete disconnection from the inner child, because the inner child, it tells us when it's unhappy. You can, those of you who have kids, you know when your kids are unhappy, that they make it very obvious. They don't pretend that everything is cool, like when we grow up and somebody asks us if we are okay, and we're fine, we're okay, you know, like we put all these faces, all these pretenses, because the society expects it, because that's how we've been programmed to also to please everyone else, to keep this balance and you know, sense of belonging, like to belong and to connect. But children, they don't have that. Before they get programmed and molded into what is socially acceptable, they innocent, they like in their essence, they true, and they tell you exactly how it is. They don't tell you that they're okay if they're not okay. Like you can see your child is not fine, And that's pretty much the inner child talking to you as an adult. If you feel unhappy, then of course your inner child is communicating with you and telling you that something is not right here. Like maybe you've been working too hard, maybe you've been compromising yourself too much, maybe you've been people pleasing, maybe you've been putting everybody else as more important than yourself. And this inner child is telling you, no, now you take care of me. Like, let's go and play, let's have some fun. And this is actually part of the healing, because Aries is about self-discovery, discovering who we really are and not being ashamed of it, just accepting ourselves and who we are in our true essence, because we are all unique, and nobody else is like you are, and nobody else has the same purpose in this life. So that's why, as I keep mentioning, that we all like have the piece of the puzzle, and your piece is unique. It's unique, and it's needed in this whole picture for it to create the entirety of it, to make sense of what the picture is about. So yeah, so this is what I feel is happening at the moment. And like I said, with the Uranus square to Sun, which is active from, like, you know, obviously within the degree, the energy's been building up, but it's today. So this energy is talking about cracking us open, and I believe this is all to do with our essential values, and also relationship, because that's also part of the comfort, that, you know, we try to stay true and connected with the people that we've known all our life maybe, but as we change, the people around us change, because they reflect the change, unless these people change with us and follow the same path, which is not always the truth, in which case sometimes we need to let go of the relationships that no longer support our evolutionary growth, or these people just disappear by themselves for whatever reason. And like I said, Venus going through Leo for 4 months, actually. She will be in a sign of Leo, and having her retrograde in the sign of Leo in summer, in July, at the same time as the nodes will change the sign, which, as I mentioned in my previous video, the nodes in signs or in the axis of Aries and Libra, it will be all about the relationships, but not just relationships to others, but relationship to ourselves. And becoming more truthful and honest with ourselves, that who we actually want to keep in our life, who is supporting us on our journey of becoming who we really are. Because sometimes when we change, when we grow, people have problem with that, because they kind of want to keep us in the same box, and they don't want us to change, because it's uncomfortable, because many times it makes them face things that are perhaps not working in their life, because, as I said before, we provide mirror for each other, and sometimes what we see, it's not what we like or what we want to see, or we are not ready to see it. So yeah, this full moon, it to me, it really speaks about the inner child healing, reconnecting with inner child. So we actually become more at peace with our authentic self, and being able to act on it. Just give ourselves a break to just be children sometimes, and just to, not children in the sulky way of blaming everybody else and nothing is my responsibility, because that's part of it as well, but actually children in a way that this is me and this is what I want, and I'm not afraid to go after it. And that's what this Uranus in Taurus has been doing all along, to try to invite us to reevaluate our values, what is important to us, and how do we want to get what is important to us, and what do we need to let go of. And yeah, it is likely that something unexpected will happen. Perhaps it will be in the resources sector, like finances or food and stuff like that, which again will make us reevaluate things, like how what is important, what do we prioritize in this life, what are we attached to. Like I've been talking in many videos now about this movie Avatar, and what is really essential, what is important in life, because we have this deep attachment to things that are not even important. And yeah, how do we prioritize the things that we do, and the people that we spend time with. So I think there is a lot of, even though Leo is a very extrovert energy, because Leo wants to go out there and take the center stage and shine and entertain people, it can be very dramatic as well, in a positive and less positive way. Depends who is acting. But to me, it also gives us an opportunity for introspections once again, because only from the inner work and sitting with ourselves we can find the answers, and then we can shine them to the world, which is the energy of Leo. How do we want to show our colors to the world, and just to be accepted for who we are? But first and foremost, in order for us to be accepted by the other, we have to accept ourselves, because Leo is about self-validation as well, to not seek the approval from outside, but actually give it to ourselves first and foremost, and then based on that we will attract people who will love and accept us exactly as we are. Like, that's what the Aquarian energy is about, to attract our own tribe, people that are in resonance with who we are, on the same fractal as where we are. So yeah, so just to apply this current experience current energy to my current experience is obviously today Uranus squaring the Sun. Actually, Uranus is still within a conjunction with my North Node, and it's at the same time squaring my Jupiter. The Sun is actually going to conjunct my Jupiter, and it's actually realizing certain things about myself and my life, and perhaps about things that I'm still not acting on, that are keeping me in a sense disempowered or limited. And yeah, and one of these things is how it's important for me to have my own space and time to myself. And this is where I can see my inner child is kicking the fuss, where where I don't have the right environment, or I'm not surrounded by the right people. And also I most profoundly felt my inner child when I was still living my old life before relocating. And I could feel like the longer I lived that kind of life, how I was feeling completely disconnected from myself and my inner child. And I felt so unhappy deep within. It doesn't matter what I try to do, what I try to buy, what I try to eat. There was this deep sense of unhappiness and disconnection, because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't living an authentic life in accordance with my values. And yeah, I still get that now. If I too much spend time doing things that don't necessarily feel fun, but it's just a balance, because obviously we cannot we cannot just play all day long, which would be nice, of course, but there are certain things that has to be fulfilled, being a part of 3D reality. But anyway, so yeah, so this is how it's manifesting for me in my experience. And today actually a lot of technological problems. I think that's all to do with this square as well. That internet is doing what it wants, and technology is not fully cooperating necessarily. But anyway, I hope that this video will upload. It has been a little bit all over the place. Sometimes I still feel like it's Mercury retrograde. I don't know if other people are feeling it. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it could be just because all these energies in Pisces, and Pisces is very confusing, nebulous energy. And of course, Venus will be making aspects to Mercury in Capricorn and Pluto, and she actually will meet with Neptune next week on the 15th. So that will be more of this nebulous energy of Neptune, dissolving things and bringing meaning to other things. So anyway, but that's conversation for another time. So yeah, so once again, just to recap, with this full moon in Aquarius, full moon in Leo, followed after the new moon in Aquarius. Yeah, we are invited to connect with our inner child, because it's got a message for us, what it is that we want to do, how we want to self-actualize in order to live an authentic life that is in accordance with our inner essence and who we really are, and to bring us a life of joy. And yeah, like I said, this energy of Chiron and Mars are actually supporting that. So that is going to lead towards individual and collectively healing, where we actually do focus on our personal needs, not just the need of other. And then when we give to ourselves what we need and self-validate, then we will stop expecting that from others and projecting that into the outer. And yeah, and then actually starting from oneself, and if everybody does it, the world will completely change, and it will become a very different place to live. So yeah, interesting energies. Perhaps do some fun things on Sunday, go to the movies, on a restaurant or something, satisfy your Leo selves, and or do it your way, you know, do something out of the box, skydive or something, because that's Aquarian energy. Obviously, Sun is in the sign of Aquarius. But all in all, guys, have a good weekend. Much love to everyone, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.